Another episode of Dad Can We Talk. We are finally at episode 80. We are 20 episodes away from 100. It's been a long time coming. Actually, we're a little further along than 80. If I count the bonus episodes, we're at about episode 86, maybe 87, but we're at episode 80 for today. And y'all listen, first thing first, I gotta get this out of the way. If you support the podcast, I truly thank you. I am grateful for all of the people that do support me and listen to the podcast and help as much as they can. But if you are listening to this episode, wherever you may be listening to it at, if you might see this on YouTube, you might be listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the podcast. That helps me out tremendously. And continue to stay tuned. Find us on Instagram, follow us there, find us on Facebook at Dad Can We Talk. And if you want to share the podcast, you can simply go to dadcanwetalk.com. That is where everything is. The YouTube is connected there, all the social medias are posted there. Everything concerning the podcast is there. So continue to support the podcast. I am greatly appreciative and be looking forward to the shirts. I should have the new shirts by the middle of next month. That's the plan, or by the latest, hopefully by the end of next month. So y'all continue to stay tuned to Dad Can We Talk. But today I am here with a guy that I reached out to on on Instagram, and I was just watching some of his stuff on his page, and just saw a lot of interesting things um that interested me in so many ways. So I reached out to him and he answered the call. And I am greatly appreciative of that because I reach out to a lot of people on Instagram. Only person that knows is my wife, and I'm always telling my wife, man, I reach out to so many people on Instagram, and a lot of people just never hit me back, especially if they have a certain amount of followers. It's just like I'm not even there. So um when this guy wrote me back, I was like, oh, let's do it, man. Let's get it. So I was definitely um I was excited, and I'm just excited to have a conversation with this guy and to receive. Y'all know with Dad Can We Talk, I always say Dad Can We Talk is for everyone else, but more than anything, it's for me. I'm still a growing dad, I'm a growing husband, I'm still growing as a man, and I just love to learn and take from other people as much as I can. So um I'm ready to have this conversation, but I'm here with the man named Malachi Gross. Hopefully, I'm getting that name right. Hopefully, perfect. And I want him to introduce himself to the Dad Can We Talk community. So, y'all, welcome to the show, my man Malachi Gross. What's going on?
Thank you so much. It is a blessing and an opportunity to expand whatever it is as far as our consciousness and awareness and collectively come together, right?
Mhm.
And express because I'm no different than anyone else as a human besides my being. And so it is a beautiful day and it's a beautiful time to answer the call, right?
Yes, sir.
I see me, I see when I see you, I see, right? And so therefore it's my duty and responsibility when I get a chance and opportunity to possibly schedule something with people, right?
Yes, sir.
Especially people that are doing their best to have a positive influence, right, on us as a society as a whole, even though this has a strong emphasis on helping the American African, which is a whole thing I'll go into dialogue.
Yeah.
It's not taken away, but it's the American African experience is still yet part of an experiment that was conducted. And we are the remnant of that history. And
Yes,
we
sir.
are part of that history, and we have our own collective American Black experience that it's on talent.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
uh, uh, just a little bit, my tag is Life Coach Malachi on Instagram. I am not, I don't I'm not a necessarily a self-proclaimed coach. What I believe there are some effective coaches, and what I do is I'm not a basketball coach. I'm not a coach in those manners. They're more of a mentor, and those people actually know possibly the game, and they tell you how to somewhat play it or what they see. And as a certified life coach under the International Coaching Federation, what we do different is you have everything. We believe that you have pretty much everything you need, and we may have an extra special, special skill set in a particular field. You know, I have a master's in business, and I've been a consultant. 15 years helping businesses and people and celebrities and things of that nature for so long, and therefore I may have some insight, can consult, but ultimately as a coach, what we do is we look at what maybe some blocks, maybe some things that can be coming in your way. So we hear you and listen deeply, real deeply. And we don't tell you what to do. We ask questions so that you can in return possibly integrate some of the ideas or things we may have that we come up together with. And then you have accountability, right? Say, okay, where am I at? Where do I want to go? And now you're not in this game all along. The crazy part is typically the people that can actually do this already have a lot. They may already
Mhm.
have, you know, 100, 200, or 1,000 employees, and then they're using these tools to actually grow for themselves, right? You have accountants, you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have all these individual people, and so as you go into phases of your life, and people may say, you know what, I want to invest into a coach so they can hear me out, and I want to do this, I want to write this book, I have so many different goals, or if you're at the celebrity status, which means just a lot of people. These people also know that in order for me to achieve my goals and to keep moving forward, I may not want to try to do this all alone. I'm going to have uh, possibly a person that push me or help me or listen, just to be able to somebody actually listens to you. And so I'm here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the home of Black Wall Street,
Yes, sir.
Greenwood occupied for sure. And so we have a really unique experience going on and happening within the city based on Black business and what it was and what it is and what it is to become. And the efforts that we're pushing, and it's coming, as a base, but it's happening throughout the whole entire country. And for me, it's recognizing and realizing what we have experienced, but don't forget what we are experiencing and being able to celebrate, brother. We have to learn to celebrate our Jay-Z's and celebrate our Kanye's and celebrate our brothers that are actually taking and empowering themselves with these gifts. So many people will come across my post by do a remix or something of these guys, and it actually takes off, get 100,000 or a million or something hits, it's like people have something to say, and typically it's like we a lot of times, not typically, I'm noticing a lot of positive, but a lot of times people want to actually do the thing that the brain is designed to do, and that is to go negative. That's just part of our nature. It's designed to be like, oh, what about this? What about that? It's like, listen to the brother's words. Just listen to his simple words, right?
Mm.
That's all you got to do. You may not believe in everything he's got to say, but if you believe in everything that anyone has to say, you
Hmm.
might need to go to the drawing board in the first place,
Yes, sir.
right? We take little nuggets and tidbits from everyone. And so if people want to find out more, just type in Malachi growth on Google, and literally you should be able to find a plethora of just information and stuff and um, about me and my background. I noticed there was a question you had asked, typically ask people about dad, right? What
Hmm.
was that question?
So my first question is usually, what was your relationship like with your dad?
Beautiful, beautiful question.
Yeah.
Um, brother, I've been blessed and what would I say, gifted with actually being able to have a father in my life my entire life. as he
Mm,
would grow in ministry. Literally, he knew my name before he was even well before I was born. You know, he
mm.
experienced. He had kind of this epic experience of this man pouring oil on top of his head. He's like feeling this calling and things on his life. And my mother was pregnant at the time, and that's when he came up with my name. And so I've had a. Not only have I had my father, but I've had a grandfather that was in my life. I've had uh, spiritual mentors that was in my life. I've had literally lots of older men, doctors,
Mm,
male doctors that was in my life. Most of it has to do with the fact that I recognized and realized it. Right? Even though you may not have the biological father, there are fathers
mm,
around us. If you recognize there is no script that says, okay, in order for you to have a father, you have to do this, you have to play catch, you have to do
yeah.
this. You know what I mean? It's like he's got to do all these things. We just have to realize and wake up and understand that um, there are fathers around. But my father was in my life, and his father was in his life, and of course, they went through various things within their relationship. My grandmother, which was his mother, died probably at 20 something years old, and he was probably 4 or 5, and there's 4 kids and uh, 4 or 5 kids at the time. I think it was probably like close to yeah, it was probably closer to 5 kids. My grandfather's living in Fort Gibson, Mississippi, and given the circumstances and what the through the American African experience, um, they went through some things, and so my father, of course, raised me how he was taught to raise.
Mm,
You know, it was he done the best he can do. We have a great relationship in the sense that I understand that he did the best he could do. I don't fault him for the things that I believe that could be better or could have been better. Um, but we had a strong relationship. But I grew up as a preacher kid, right? As a
mm.
pastor, and he did that all my life. And there's a lot of us, brother. I'm telling you, there's a lot of us that are out there that went through being a preacher's kid and what it's. I went to church. It was heavily, um, pretty much, I would say 99% African American, one of the largest African American uh, denominations. And so we had my relationship essentially was geared around that, around music. And, he had a motorcycle and he would give me go on rides. I would say the only thing that the one of some of there's a lot that I've changed, but I think we've changed a lot that oh, just through understanding and knowing, and that is how we discipline it, right?
Mm,
Well, there's various levels of discipline. There's still people that do various things, but I went through the era from extension cords to switches to branches, and then it was like, okay, well, maybe we should. You,
mm.
maybe we should, or
Yeah.
maybe we shouldn't do some of these things because of some of these things are deeply, deeply inherited that we feel, and then we use scriptures and Bible to believe that there's a certain level of chastisement that we need to do in order to actually make a person learn, right? To have a person understand, and I realize and understand that a lot of that, brother, man, it really, it can mess with your temper. It can mess with a lot of who you are, and you build a lot of fear, and there's all kinds of things that we could go into on that. But overall, I must say that I have yet a relationship with them that is, I would say, it's a good relationship. As
Mm-hmm.
far as understanding or misunderstanding, I've just learned, brother. I've just learned to understand, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Mm,
The more we seek to understand, right? the more we can learn and understand about life and circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So people will. It's like when you have I've heard stories and of people where the dads was pimps and their moms was hoes is what they would just come up and say, we got the broads. And so I, Tulsa has a little bit of a ironically it has some authentic pimp culture and literally like
Mhm.
those people would be honest and be like, my daddy was a pimp, right? And
Yeah.
they would just be honest, like, and they don't. There's nothing to hide. It's still my daddy. It's like you have moms and crackheads or whatever. It's like that's still my mama, but I'm still gonna come to terms and call it for what it is. I'm not gonna play the role, like that they're not. And so I say that because with my father, as far as his beliefs and his belief systems and things that he would do that I might not do, a lot of that is just based on what he learned growing up as a kid and what he's learned as an adult. And I believe, especially would say, coming from the American African experience, brother, I'm a filmmaker, producer, and done we did a lot of interviews for Chicago at the Crossroads on Amazon Prime,
Mm.
and just understanding like what have experienced as a group, as a culture, as people on this planet in America. We've experienced certain things as Black people, especially Black males, and I would say, heck, talk about reparations. I think one thing that we need to do is like everybody can get free therapy. Uh,
Yeah.
because we have, I'm
Yeah.
serious, man, we got so many things that we deal with. And we don't know it, and we may not say it. I mean, heck, it could be simple things like going to the doctor,
Mm.
right? Trust in the bank. I mean, it could be, there's just basic, obviously, but there's basic things that we can struggle with just based on history, based on, we could just have mental blocks, based on proof and things that happen, to us as people, I was listening to someone and they said, if we turn the table, I have a documentary coming out about the last 3 years somewhere in America. And if we turn the tables and we had Obama do exactly everything, this is a straight up question. If you had Obama do exactly everything Trump did at those final hours, and then a bunch of black people went to the Capitol and began to do that, do you be for real with yourself? Be
Mm.
100% for real with yourself. Do you believe that the exact same thing would have happened, or would we have different results?
Oh, it would
Right?
have been much different.
It would have been different results, and you have to be honest with yourself, right? You have to be honest with yourself. It would have been much different because all the people that are actually saying, "Hey, I have a right to do this," would be like, "You don't have the right to do this, and we need to actually come and support. We need to come and stop you as you're a threat." And that all has to do with history, um, uh, mental psychosis. Um, uh, I mean, I could keep on going with the psychology that we actually deal with, and we
Mm.
don't believe it or know it. But my relationship with my father, I must say, compared to a lot of other people, I at least had him in my life.
Yeah.
He really he did the best he could do. And now I would say I have just a lot of understanding, and I do my best to. I just, somewhat, I do my best to keep the peace.
Yeah.
You know, I cuss my ass off. But I don't do that around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm probably slightly more hood than he knows.
Yeah.
Uh, because of how I grew up with my friends. You know,
Yeah.
but I just know that there's only so much that there's nothing I have to prove. I just show myself friendly, and I do I do my best just to let a person be. Sometimes you do have to like hold your ground and say, you know what, I just don't believe that, but I don't have to operate in fear and raise my emotions right?
Mm.
Operate prayer, raise my emotions, and be like, I'm going to get it out of you, or I'm going to make you believe, or I'm going to, you know, I have, I don't. There's just so much more we could do as people when we begin to actually do this thing, right? We begin to just
Hmm.
relax and don't let this thing actually get a hold of us and take it on. It's really with in our ears, And so I've been able to not only just have a relationship with him, through the ups and downs of life, but I've just been able to do my best to understand. So if you have a dad out there and he's not in your life or hasn't been in your life, and a lot of people call him dead beat,
Mm.
just the best thing you can do is embrace that and say, you know what, he wasn't in my life, and I learned. I learned how I don't want it,
Hmm.
right? And what you're doing is the practice of forgive is actually you letting it go. Because if you
Mm.
don't learn to, it's like, well, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. Part of that is forgetting because the minute that you can let it go, I'm not saying you got to be like, okay, I'm gonna forget, I'm gonna just let him come to my house. I'm gonna just let him.
Yeah.
No, I ain't saying you got to do all that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you got to do enough within yourself to allow you to let it go, to allow you to be free. You know
Mm.
what? I understand that he was just on the street. I understand that he just did the best he could, or maybe not. Maybe he
Hmm.
was just. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He's a piece of shit. I mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, how do I function with myself so that I don't carry on this same trait? First of all, is just understanding that he went through what he went through and he did what he did. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna breathe it out, understand, and I'm just gonna let it go. And the relationship that I do have or what I want with him, that's what it's gonna be. But I'm gonna have a practice of just letting things, man. If the more we can let things go, right? It's like the less guilt that we put back onto ourselves. It's a reverse effect. The more you put on them, you putting that guilt back onto you. Once
Hmm.
you come into consciousness or awareness of saying he didn't do this, if you're aware that he didn't do, then you can be aware of what you can do,
Mm.
right? And why you want to be different. Because
Hmm.
most people are just, I'm telling you, bro, most people are just running the program. Like they just running the program. They don't understand that they have. We talk about free will, but people just don't understand what that truly, truly means. They don't truly understand and believe in them, right? And,
Hmm.
and believe that they can achieve and they can dig deep, right, into who they are and do their best, right? Um, but overall, with my father, man, I must say that uh, I had a relationship. I have a relationship,
Mm.
and although I think he personally would be like, want me to be maybe even more involved. It's man, I'm on the grind. I'm focusing on my family. Um,
Mm.
and one of the things that I mean, I think he really understands it. But the biggest thing in my life right now is I have three kids,
Yeah.
11, 13, and 16.
Mm.
And they're very involved. Got two AAU players, competitive basketball, and then I have a person that's in a marching band that goes to I don't know what you would call it. I call it it's like an HBCU high school because
Mm.
they march and they got all these different things going on. So it's commitment, a hardcore commitment when you join that band. And so therefore, it's like my focus, 100 my focus has been on. Um, I'll be straight up. My focus has been on me,
Yeah.
right? If I can't fix me, if I can't be honest with me, if I can't be clear who I am and work on my authentic divine self, if I can't do that. How am I going to actually be open and there for them? Like,
Mm.
how can I really connect to my kids if I say, okay, I'm gonna focus on my my kids? And when I say focus on myself, I'm not saying being a narcissist, but I am saying like uh taking care of yourself, right? I am saying like not, of course, not thinking about just kicking and going out with fellas, But I'm just saying, like, who are you? Why are you here? Right? What are you bringing to the table, to the whole picture of the world? Right? That can we talk is bringing something, bringing conversation, so
Hmm.
that people can be enlightened. Listen to stories, right? Listen to people's experience, so
Hmm.
that we can actually all grow and we can all benefit from each other. Because honestly, humans are just humans are just a higher species of an animal, if you will, to Earth. Right? We
Hmm.
can think, we can be creative, we can look at situations and be like, oh, it'd be cool if I fly. And then over the years discover how to do it. Right? We have this intrinsic nature, this godlike nature to be like God, to change things out of nothing, right? Using something built into us and saying, ooh, what if I could? What if I could? What if I could? Right? And over the years, have some success at changing us and who we are and our paradigm. Oh, geez, changing who we are as people, right? And so the beauty of that is to do our part in this generation, right? To do our part in this generation. Martin did his Martin Luther
Yeah.
King Jr. specifically, and that era, right? And if we still talk about even other eras, Frederick, and the list goes on of as far as uh, black people of enterprise or black people of history that they uh, saw a need or they they had a pull or call, right, to do something to make a difference or be a difference. And so now it's like we talk about those people. Now it's our turn. It's our turn to do what we can for this generation to keep changing the minds of the people.
Hmm.
I told my partner did that today is we still have to call it like he is as an intrinsic being, as a deeply spiritual, daily meditator, breath work. I can get deep into that. What happens is you begin to come more out of just yourself and you begin to get more in the spirit. So it's easier to experience as I read a lot of these dead books behind me, people that are written by books that are written by dead people. I get to experience and feel what they went through and understand right now as a black man, for me, it's the best time to be alive. And I'm not basing that according to just history, but I'm basing it that I can't be alive any other time.
Hmm.
This is the time that I'm alive. And I got to realize what benefits that I do have, what things that I can take advantage of, right? And recognize and realize and celebrate those moments, right? Celebrating the black millionaires and billionaires and what they're able to accomplish in this day and hour and what we can and will be able to accomplish in the future. Most of what you see and what we're going through has to do with a breakdown more than an breakdown in the setup than
Yeah.
it has to do with the continual experience of yesteryear. Yes, we do go through some things. Yes, we experience some things we shouldn't. Absolutely. But I mean, is there any other era that hasn't?
Hmm.
Right?
Nope.
I mean, like, there's no other era that hasn't. What's the worst thing that happens to us that we would say this word?
Hmm.
From what I know, it's like the only people that we consider death the worst thing because we are alive.
Hmm. Straight up.
It's because we're alive and we feel this is my opportunity, this is my only opportunity in life. But I promise you, I totally promise you, we are much more than this is.
Hmm.
And man, if anybody right now, you got to understand we're so much more than this skin. Although this skin is one of the most unique things that you can experience on the planet.
Hmm. That's
It's
real.
one of the most unique things that you can experience out of any other human being that's been alive, especially in this era in the last 1,000 years. The black, if you really think about the black American person, right? Which is completely different than if you take it back many, many years, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, you got Europeans and, essentially this our melanin, it's like the first. person and the first
Hmm.
people had melanin in their skin, we still are able to produce. The black female is able to produce a white pigment, but the
Yes, sir.
white pigment can't produce the black, right?
That's
So
real.
that's more than that. And I promise you, that has more than just, oh, these are black people special. No, it's the fact that humans are special, right? And then we have our unique call, our unique gift, right?
Mm.
Of this, I truly enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
I I really enjoy being able to be who I am, accept who I am, and understand that. Some people say we choose it, right?
Mm.
Some have said that, it's like, before the foundation of the earth, I knew you, and so
Mm.
therefore we have like, uh, we play a part as people, in who we are. There's so much more to us. That's one of the messages I would like to have. So much more to you than what you see in the mirror, and that's what
Mm.
hurts.
That's
That's what
real.
hurts. The fact that there's so much more to you than what you see in the mirror, and what your experiences, what you live, things you got to say, your creative design. The black, experience has brought. I remember whenever 20-inch wheels wasn't a thing until the Chrysler 300 came along, and it was designed by a black.
Yeah.
It was he worked for Chrysler as a designer. He brought the 20. It just kept growing. It
Mm.
get and evolving, and we bring a lot and brought a lot. We rule, if you will, the the screen, the front end of the entertainment industry. That's one thing that was seemed to like come against us, and it was used, step infected, and it was kind of used as a gimmick, kind of a circus act. The black man, he was a circus. Let's watch him, and then we'll watch him act, and then we'll actually paint our face black, act like him, buffoonery. And now look at how the tables have turned. And I
Mm.
think I want more of us to continue to do this and master the entertainment platform, master the journalistic platform, master the technology and cameras and content generation, and being able to add the elements of who we are as we are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I believe that we will do that more and continue. And so I want to encourage you, as Dad, can we talk, right? Don't lose hope. Just know that when you start feeling that, start feeling like, dang, I need that. Dang, I need this. Oh my God, I just won't ready. I'm ready. Just know that that's breakthrough happen. That's your future self saying, you know what, brother? Like, just keep it going, and to have 80 episodes, bro. Like, to have 80 episodes, I promise you. If I
Mm.
told you right now, if I told you your breakthrough that you really, 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 really want right now, like your breakthrough for this right now, you're gonna get a phone call, and it's gonna be a phone call from someone that actually adds the tremendous value or sponsor, whatever it is. And I said, man, you're only 36 episodes. Or if I said you're only 150 episodes, you're 150 episodes from a $20,000 hit. You
Yeah.
know what you would do? You know what you would
Get on that
do?
grind.
You would get on that grind.
Yeah.
You would get on that grind.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to look at it, bro. Like, you're I'm telling you, you're one phone call away. I tell stars this, like, you're one phone call away from somebody saying, wow, you're one algorithm glitch away
Mm.
from someone seeing an episode. And it's just like, believe
Mm.
me, believe me, it's happened to me numerous times. Most of what I do and how I become who I am, brother, that's through manifestation. It's much easier than just saying I'm work hard. My grandfather worked for the railroad. That's hard work. I don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to be laying ties and working real hard for what? You know what I mean? Like, I believe in grinding. I believe in commitment. I believe in burning the midnight oil for, you know, certain things. But at the same time, like, I don't believe in get rich get rich, die trying, you're gonna die, right? No matter what.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna kill myself trying to get rich because I'm already gonna die. I might
Yeah.
as well work hard for what I want to achieve whenever it's necessary, but to, celebrate my successes and enjoy, take a time to be happy because I ain't gonna be
Mm,
happy 24/7, even if I have it all. I'm
straight
still
up.
gonna have things that I go through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna celebrate my moment. I'm gonna actually, you know, have my little successes and I'm gonna celebrate them to the point for me and say, good job. Well
Mm.
done. You know what I mean? Like, give your own self a pat on the back. Like Snoop Dogg, I thank me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You seen that when he said that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing, there's the narcissist would do the same thing, and when they would do it, it's more or less convincing everyone else to think, convincing everyone else that they're the best. But it's
Mm.
not you actually saying it to yourself or saying it. I want you to do that tonight, right?
Mhm.
Um, in the mirror, I want you to say, you know, awesome, congratulations. Matter of fact, you need to take out the family and the kids, right? Because Malachi said it. I'm gonna send you some money and be like, he said we got to celebrate episode 8.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I'm on it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hey, it's funny with that Snoop Dogg quote. I was watching him on another podcast called Drink Champs, and he spoke about that quote, and he was saying that, most people when they heard the quote, they were like, "Oh, he's feeling himself." And he was like, "No, what I'm doing is I'm thanking myself in front of the world so that the next person who would hear this would say, man, you know what? Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should, start to look at the things that I've done throughout my life and thank themselves." He was like, he wanted to motivate other people to
Yeah,
look at the accomplishments that they've made in their lives and begin to just thank themselves, because we a lot of times we forget about ourselves and the
yeah,
work that we've put in. And he was just like, that was his whole thing. It wasn't so much about him, but he was like, he wanted to encourage other people to do the same thing.
absolutely. It's called the self care is, you're taking time out to do certain things, maybe for the health of your body. Uh, some self care could be like going to the movies. Those things. Self love is when you learn to forgive yourself, right?
Mm.
You learn to forgive yourself because you really didn't post like you really want to. You
Yeah.
really didn't, you could be so much further, right? You could have a better camera or something. You
Mm.
know what I mean? You could have like it's like all these things that you think about what success means. You know what I mean? And it's just been like, you know what, man, I am alive. I'm in. I feel like I'm in at least enough of my right mind that I have family. Everybody, especially if you have family, everybody's in the same room.
Mm.
Especially if you have that. There's going to be things that we deal with, between life and bills and relationships. Of course, we can't escape. But learning to love yourself, learning to love yourself is realizing that, if you make mistakes, being able to go back to that person, being like, you know what, I'm sorry. Like, wife is best being able to, wife or girl, whoever it is, being able to be like, you know what, I'm I'm doing the best that I can, and I want to do better. Always do better. Is there
Mm.
anything? Is there anything that you could tell me that can help me love you better? How I
Mm.
could wouldn't you know what most people would do is they wouldn't even have
Yeah.
a because they have a problem with loving themselves.
Mm. That's real.
And so a lot of people and honestly, a lot of people that practice that, even if some people can lean a little more towards narcissistic behavior. But a lot of people uh, that do that, they're CEOs or they're making it as far as things on, and don't get me started on Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, uh, and one of the things that's unique that I've discovered about most of these guys is a lot of times there was somebody in their life. Watch Kanye documentaries. There's a lot of what we call is through NLP, linguistic programming. His mother, she's talking to him. Oh, Kanye, real soft, and you could see him going back into baby. I love it. I love it. That is so good. That you know what I mean.
Mm.
So she's just she's just giving him right what I would call is building his self esteem, right? Building who he is. And this has happened, like, as I see a lot of people that rise to stardom, if you will, a lot of times there's certain people that were in their life. Because I don't believe in the self made man, because without other people, what do you have?
Yeah.
You're out on an island. It's like, I believe that a person can build and do things within themselves, and it's, belief and a lot of work and whatever else. But it's like it takes people to make the world.
Hmm.
And so, little small mentors that could be in your life, they can actually help uh, become who you are if you're willing to give them credit. And so, self love uh, is self love is a really, really big thing that I want a lot of dads, especially uh, African American dads. I want us to really research it. Jump on Google. And any other thing is try to experience it. There's a thing called, we can be scared of stuff. But, there's a float thing called there's like a float tank, and a lot of cities have it. And what happens is, it's a lot to do with your brain, but you're in the tank and it's got salt in it, and you're going to float. They got a head thing in it, but you'll be in there and you could be in there for an hour, and it's so weird because the lights might go off, you hit the side, and the light come on. But what happens is, it's sensory programming, desensory programming. I forgot the name, but what happens is your brain has kind of a way between you're floating there, the lights go off, and brother, all of a sudden, either you'll fall asleep or that time will just pass really quick. And it's like, holy cow, what just happened? And a lot of it's relaxation, and just I'm a person that I have a therapist,
Mm.
massage therapist that and I don't want. I mean, the happy endings will get old whenever you got other stuff going on. You know what I mean? But I have a person that I would go to, you know, work out different parts of my body. Um, and part of that is self care, but a lot of that is health. Black men we deal with a lot of varying various issues. I think another one that'll come up before too long once we realize it is, you know, meat, lots of meat, smoked meat, a lot of sugar that we take in because it's like, well, we get used to it and we've been used to it from family, and so therefore it's like our taste buds become more important than the fact that man, you got a mission like right now. You might need to take yourself away from certain things so that you could complete this mission, right?
Mm.
Be able to develop and create your unique, you know, uh, like your show here, which I believe is a beautiful thing, brother. Like 100%. Uh, just take it in strides, but realize, man, that every story counts. Every story counts. Every episode counts.
Oh
And
yeah.
as a dad, I think the biggest thing that I try to do with my kids, especially at their age, is I try to be authentically me without it being at the age of what I believe they can handle it, right? I try to be my authentic, uh, my authentic divine self, divine meaning what in which we come from, a divine nature is in short. And so I tried my best to be. 100% me and authentic. And the biggest thing ever, if I want any dads out there, what the biggest thing you can is shut up and
Yeah.
listen. Ask them questions. Ask them questions. And don't try to be a dad all the time.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? What was one? If I don't know if you've ever experienced, bro, like, but uh, like I'm 45, so I grew up. I kind of grew up old school on top of it. And old people or older people, even back then, whenever they were 30 and 40 years old, it was like they felt like they have to train you, and so therefore, in training you, they just gotta listen to them, and then they just tell you how to live because that's what they went through. A lot in the uh, 50s and 60s, uh, and I grew up in the. I was born in the 70s, and what happens is a lot of the way we grew up was just we tell you and you have no. We
Hmm.
tell you, right? And one of the biggest things in coaching that you can find out is if you ask the right, right? Now you get into now you're opening up something inside their brain, right? And you're saying he has an interest in what I got to think, and just letting them freely, letting them so even if you like, even if they're in trouble, okay, so you're not cleaning up your room, and I told you to do it. Now I'm not taking the extra. I'm not taking your game system. You are doing that. I'm just following. I'm just following the agreement. My wife is an HR manager of a college, and so and then I'm a business dude, bro. We got contracts in my house.
Yeah.
We got contracts in my house. All right, so this if you're gonna be doing certain responsibilities and you're not doing certain things, all right. So here's the contract. If there's a compensation or if there's something that you get out of it, because you don't get compensation just because you clean your own room.
Hmm.
All right, but that's just one of the requirements that you're gonna have, and you're gonna do this. And so, okay, you sign here and I'll sign here, just so we understand that this agreement, right? And this agreement is your personal responsibility. And if you fail to meet the agreement, it's not me being dad and coming against you. That's you not following our agreement,
Hmm.
so that we can both make this house system work.
Hmm.
We all got to get along up in here. You know what I mean? And then you want to make me my youngest. It's like now you want to make me get gangster. My baby girl.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to pull that up. This
Yeah. Yeah, man. And, and see, it's funny because I deal with that same thing. Like my youngest, man, it's like she always say she's the one. She's the one that can get it up out of me. If there's no
test.
other one that can get it out of me, it's her. I mean, she just like I'm like, what happened? Like, what happened with this last child, man?
Part of it is the youngest, and the other thing is what I realized because of who I am in terms of who I've become over the years, being able to tap into it and turn on it. A lot of it has to do where I was whenever she was born, or I was
Ah,
whenever she was in her mother's womb. Like it's hard for us to get that whenever we think about DNA. We think about we get it when it comes to chemical, and so therefore it's like chemically, it's like if you got a meth and crack and cocaine and there's drugs that a woman can take, and then the baby comes out right, or the baby comes out already um, that way. Um,
hmm,
Typically addicted. So what happens though when the mom was down, when the mom was going through something,
hmm.
what happened? A lot of times that can, in return, uh, have okay, you still there? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm here.
In return, that can have an effect on us, and that can it can come through and push through various things in our lives. And I was tuned into like what what's our deal? Like, besides being the youngest and there's things that we do when raising that younger. The first one will be like, oh, the second one is like, okay, yeah, it's my son. And then whenever that last one's like, oh my God, another baby. You know what I mean? And so it's like the things we do with I told my wife, it's like the other kids didn't have to do laundry, so he's capable and does it, and I think it's fine. But, Olivia, my oldest, she didn't have to do that whenever she didn't think about doing it when she was 7 or 8. Where Sophia is like, she started way sooner, if you will, and those things. And so there's little things. I mean, she had kids TV shows,
Yeah.
that were my oldest had kids TV shows and all these things, and the youngest kind of has to follow suit with the other two. So I know there's a lot of dynamics that they go through, especially being the
Hmm.
youngest. But the biggest thing that I have learned is in helping her realize and understand, and to keep me from uh, regretting my reaction, because I can have reactions that I'm like, you know, that's okay. And I have to go back to her to apologize, be like, look, I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that, but here's the things that caused me to do those things, right? And so let's
Hmm.
get on the same page and get an understanding, right? And I think my 45 years on this planet may be valuable to your 11,
Hmm.
because sometimes she be thinking she know, like she thinks she really does know, and I'm like, I think you do know a lot, but and part of it, I think that is will and drive and a little bit of me and her mother, and but ultimately, um, asking questions, asking more questions
Hmm.
versus uh, having more to demand, direct, uh, just asking questions. Uh, and even if you want them to do something, it's like, so what will it take? What is it that I need to do to help you, or what is it that you don't understand about this deal here? What is it that you don't understand? Like, why wouldn't you want to keep your, like, what is it? What's the issue?
Hmm.
What's the issue of doing this? And there's been things where she would just say, I don't know, I get frustrated. I don't know, I get confused. I don't know. It's like, so, well, what about picking it up right after you do it? You know what I mean? So it's like I'm constantly asking these questions because what I want her, I get tired of
Hmm.
actually going back over and over and over and over. You know,
Hmm.
I get tired of that, and so therefore it's like, and I can use, I can use the iron fist, and believe me, there's been times uh, that that I have, you know, probably just pulled the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, everybody off.
Yeah.
Because these kids grow up with so much. I mean, just simple things like internet. Dude,
Hmm.
uh, everybody's off. And I'll tell you, and honestly, man, that's one thing that we have to do as dads. I'll tell you, man, one of the things I know for a fact is dads influence the home like never before.
Hmm.
If you come home in a bad mood, it change the room. If you come home and bring a certain attitude, it change the room. Right?
Hmm.
It could change the whole entire room. My kid's dog um follow me or listen to me like no, like the kids don't, and I had to explain the kids uh as far as the way the animal species, especially the dog species, and how it works. And there's an alpha typically with dogs. And they lead the pack, and a lot of times that whoever's the alpha, that's what happens. And then plus between feeding uh and just the whole nature of a man and what they bring is they can actually have an effect on an animal where the animal will see the dog different. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? The animal will see the male different. smell in the house. It see it completely different than it sees anyone else and treats them a certain way. And part of that comes from the species. And so, therefore, man, I want to influence every man that's able to hear this. I want to give them the cheat code. Like literally, I want to give you a life cheat code, and I promise you, it's a life cheat code. We've been talking about it for centuries, but it's now the science is rolling out, and the science is proving, and not only is the science proving it, but people's lives are proving it. If you, there was one of the final games, I can't remember what it was, but LeBron James had an incredible game, and he was just balling. And but if you look at one of the timeouts, you'll see him, and he's over there, and he's just sitting, collecting his thoughts, letting it come in and letting it go, coming in, and like brother wasn't even at the game.
Hmm.
Y'all was everybody else was at the game. That brother was in flow. He was in the zone. And one of the things that I'll tell you, there's a key code for life, and that is there's meditation apps, there's YouTube that you can look up. And one of the biggest things you can do is just understand the way who we are and how we operate and work. And one of the things is we all have to sleep, no matter what. We all have to sleep. And the reason why we have to is because I believe it's within the prefrontal cortex. But there's literally the brain is two halves, and then you have, of course, the pineal gland. The brain is two halves, but and then there's different sections that do different things. You know, literally, if they wanted to work on your speech, they can actually literally have your brain open and use probes and actually have you speak or have you do different things, and it can slur your speech. You know, people have a stroke. There's different things that shut down in the brain. But essentially, we have to sleep because of the fact that if you don't sleep, they use it as a support system. And uh, what happens is now the chemical, it's called insomnia, right? If you don't sleep. Because now all of a sudden the brain says, I have to shut this down because what happens, the brain uses most energy in the whole body. As we eat, we burn calories, fat, and everything. But the brain uses the most of that energy, right? People say we don't use all of our brain, we only use a certain percent. Technically, we are using it, but we don't use it at its full capacity. We are using pretty much the whole brain, but we don't use it at its full capacity. But the reason why we sleep, of course, is certain functions of part of the body has to have rest. It has to take a break because because of the design, right? And but there's something to keep your heart going.
Hmm.
There's something that's still, you know what I mean? It's like you don't sit there and be like, oh man, I need to work. My liver needs to work. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
need to. Oh man, I got to get certain functions of my body working. You only know whenever it hits your body, and then it signals the brain. And the brain says you need to, right? Oh, you better go, right? Those are just signals that you're getting. So imagine if you can improve those signals. Imagine if you got childhood experiences that are locked in there. There's childhood experiences and things that we can go through. The brain will, it locks it in there, but then it will just say, ooh, this was trauma, right? This was trauma. We're going to just shut the door on that, but it's good, right? Um, um, and we just now discovering, if you watch Chicago at the Crossroads on Amazon Prime, we're just, of course, the research has come out for certain ghettos and certain um, red line districts is what I call them. You know,
Hmm.
these red line districts that were created, and now we have to uh, overcome them just magically, I guess, of the issues that we have within these neighborhoods, and we want to just say it's those people's fault. But anyway, um, those traumas and dramas can create a level of PTSD, post traumatic stress.
Hmm.
Like most of your shootings, most of the people picking up guns, it's not because of my strength and my power. It's because of the fact that mostly I'm afraid. And so what I do to display my power is I get power. right? And
Mm.
I display my power to let everybody know that I got power, right? And so what happens though to individuals is now they have PTSD, post-traumatic stress, and they live all their life, and now they got kids and all this, and they deal with all this stress. And so one of the things that we know for a fact, that I know for a fact, John, is like if people can learn to go within, right? And you hear all the thoughts and everything, come in, it could be like, man, you could have more episodes, man. You could be doing this, man. You ain't, you got all these things pouring in, or you could be online and you see all this stuff people are sharing, and then you don't know, but that stuff is weighing on you and weighing on you. So what happens is if you take 15 minutes, and what you're gonna do is you can have follow apps. There's music apps out there. There's various ways that a person can actually um, um, get introduced to this. But the whole goal is just to take this pause and force the brain to say, I'm taking a break. I'm going
Mm.
to take a break while I'm up. And what I'm going to do is I want to take that break, but within 60 seconds, roughly, you're going to have a thought about what you could be doing. You're going to have a thought about what's going to be coming in tomorrow. You're going to have all these thoughts because that's the pre-design of the brain. And then
Mm.
plus we have today's society. Today's society says, man, you need to be working, man. You better be doing this, man. It's like you got all this coming in, which is okay.
Mm.
That's good. That's just right. Let it come in. But then you breathe and you say, you know what? I'm only sitting here for 5 minutes. I'm only sitting here for 10 minutes. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to just let it come in. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to just let it go.
Mm.
A lot of times you can have a word, you can have a keyword, you can be like, whatever that word is, like love. I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to just let it go because this moment is for me right now. And what I'm doing is imagine yourself going to the gym. And what you do with a muscle, as like is you're going to actually hit that muscle, and you're actually going to uh, uh, cause a damage to that muscle. You're going to actually tear it, and you're going to rip it. You're going to do stuff to that particular muscle, and then you're taking in the right protein, and you're taking in the right uh, food that turns to chemicals, and it's going to turn to a chemical in your body. It's going to begin to repair that particular muscle, pretty much like if you don't do it, take a break, right? It's going to repair it. That's when they typically say you go work muscle. And so that building process is just building, tearing it down, building it up, tearing it down, building it up. So
Mm.
with the brain, it's the same way where the thoughts are going to go, they're going to come in, the thoughts are going to come in, you're going to say no. The thoughts are going to come in, you're going to say no. And you only have to hold that no for a moment,
Mm.
just a moment, just a breath, to hold it for a moment. So now what's happening in your brain, brother, is those thoughts that are rolling in, and you saying no. Now guess what? You got more control over your internal thoughts and really being able to call them out.
Mm.
Internal thoughts. You just trying to let me. It's just that's just an internal thought. And what happens? All of a sudden, what happened to you, brother? You're as you build this, and I promise you, within a week, you're going to be able to see everyone else and how the world is on them, and they're just responding and responding and responding or reacting. They're reacting, 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 and they don't have any kind of way of understanding that they're just reacting. You're just reacting, and you haven't processed any, right? You haven't taken the time to process because guess what? Most likely you don't know how to process, right? You're
Mhm.
just running and gunning, right? And what happens is the more you do this, the better that your brain gets. And literally, they say 15 minutes of 50 minutes of meditation could be equivalent to 2 hours of sleep,
Wow.
right? 2 hours of good sleep. Most people don't. And it's, you can have 2 hours of sleep. So imagine all of a sudden, now your brain is functioning at a higher rate, at a more conscious state, right? It's beginning to actually not just be running you. Now you're tapping into what we call as your intuition, and you're tapping into the essence of who you are, the spirit of who you are, which is divine, bro. Which is like it really is. I don't. I'm a person that I don't believe in evil. I mean, I believe in dimension good. So a person is you're born and you're a baby, and then what happens to that? What happens to that individual? What happens to that? How are they impacted on in the world? How are they impacted from the world? Right? All of a sudden now this person that was good, they're demented,
Mm.
right? They got this and that, and they of course they have to possibly be responsible for whatever it is that they do, but at the same time there is a person there that they do. I promise you, they have a it's like they have heck infinite and capable of anything. Like you know what I mean? Like an infant, it's not capable of anything.
Mm.
It's just nature and nurture. You know, between how you raised, where you raised, what you went to, what you were able to learn, so many different things that can affect you. And so, one of the biggest ways for us to benefit, and literally, I promise you, I got literally hundreds of books, and some of the most successful people that have ever walked this planet and experienced this earth. And then listen what I said, experience this earth have been people that have been able to uh, come into who they are and being able to balance their balance their thoughts and being able to take on uh, uh, more of a divine creative self. Steve Jobs, the list goes on. They had old school, and different things that he would do, but it's like how do you come up with an iPhone? How do you come up with all these different? For the most part, some of it is knowledge, brother, but a lot of it is just being able to go within and being able to pull that out and then actually being able to we all do a lot of it, to be honest, like you did it with the show here. You know what I mean? That was something that was an idea, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Something
Hmm.
made you spawn and do it. And now it's it is what it is. And whatever you want it to be, right, you need to start seeing it. Like start seeing what it is. You know what I mean? Like I see this background and all this. I seen
Mm.
this before it happened, right? I
Yeah.
seen it. I felt it. I envisioned it. And then I just began to, you know, live it out, right? Just live it out, live it out, live it out. And one of the things I'll tell you, you can manifest and you can believe and manifest something. But once you rise to the occasion of whoever it is and whatever it is that you are, being able to maintain that has a lot to do with what you go through here. Because otherwise, you could rise to the occasion and have the grand opportunity and then fall off, fall off the bat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not being able to produce, not being able to hang on to it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like certain successes, I don't want until I'm ready. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't want them until I'm ready. If I was 20, 25 years old to have certain things, that's a big responsibility to say, now I've arrived to the top. Now I have to keep rising. Now I have to move the goalpost for success. It's like, okay, I accomplished that. Now I got to go higher. Now I accomplished that. It's like go from we go from people wanting to be the millionaire. Now people want to be the billionaire. Now people want to be the, you know, it's like you constantly moving the goalpost, and that's what happens to a lot of successful people that I would deal with. They deal with the fact that it's like I've already achieved this, and now I need to achieve this, and now I need. You don't even know how to be. You
Mm.
don't even have. It's hard for you to enjoy what you got,
Mm.
right? You can't even enjoy what you have because of the fact that it's like, you know, I'm moving the post, and until I get the Lambo, and it's like that's cool, but that's still a feeling. Success is a feeling, bro. I'm telling you, it's a feeling. You get a feeling when you get into that car. You get a feeling, you know. Uh, it's not a new Range Rover, but I still drive a Range Rover I had a feeling of it before I had it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
now that I now that I have it, it it's something that came to me more than I me going to this. To be honest,
Mm.
it was more of something, and I didn't know how to. I felt kind of weird the way it was all unfolding. Like, it's gonna break. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all that computers, and like I was kind of nervous. You
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna be able to do this? But this was unfolding for me versus me just being like, yeah, work hard, And so, one of the biggest things is being able to have things, but them things don't have you. And
Mm.
then the other things the principle I live by is, uh, it's an expression of possibly expression of personality, expression of who I am. But what good does it do for me just to have something if it's not for an opportunity for a person to say, yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun. I drive it. I enjoy it. It's neat, right? There's been a couple of people that I would just be like, well, the first thing you got to do is sit behind the wheel, right? Just feel it. Just because if it's something nice that you want, okay, great. Are you gonna? Is it gonna make a difference in your life, and are you gonna be able to use it to make a difference in somebody else?
Mm.
Right? That's my 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 biggest principle is the higher or the more that it's the perceived value, right? Have this and the perceived value is this, you know, the more responsibility I feel um, with with helping those people that are watching you or listening to you or connecting to you. You have a
Mm.
responsibility to me to uh, lift lift people and it not be about you because 9 times out of 10, if you don't do that, you got a good chance that you will die. But
Yeah.
so what is a proper man to gain the world and lose his soul? To
Mm.
lose it, and you never took that opportunity to actually assist and help and connect people to their higher self, right? On what they're able to come and what they're able.
Mhm.
Brother, if you
Man,
don't stop me, boy, I can
listen,
keep
man.
going.
We'll be here all night messing with me. But see, I know you got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. But man, listen, I'm just soaking all this in because, like I always say, man, like, I need this type of stuff. Like doing this podcast is therapy for me at times to be able to
Good. Yeah.
hear from another person and someone else's experience and just soak it all in because I need this.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff you said tonight, I'm just like, man, this man is preaching to me, and these are things that I'm gonna take, and try to add to my life like immediately, like tonight, like tomorrow, because especially that the part about that the meditation and the allowing things because at times I honestly I feel really guilty at times when I'm not doing something. I feel
Yeah.
like I always at every moment of the day I gotta be doing something. I gotta be doing something. And I never really take the time to just relax, And when I do relax, I honestly I feel like, man, I'm wasting time.
Mm.
And that's like one of my biggest challenges is learning to, like even taking the day of Sabbath, the Sabbath day, and like honestly just resting. It
Yes.
sometimes it feels like, man, I missed out on, I could have been doing this, I could have had this done. And I believe that God really gave us that day for us, like
Yes.
rest, man. Stop
Yes.
working. You got 6 other days to work. Why not take one day for you to decompress? And sometimes, man, that's honestly the hardest thing to do.
Yes. Well, I mean, part of that too is uh the the what is it called? You got the American dream, and then I just seen a video, and this guy was like, well, he's like a billionaire, and he was like, he's like, uh, he says, well, a millionaire doesn't think like a billionaire.
Mm,
And part of that is part of part of some of that, but ultimately, brother, um, people don't understand how much source is involved. They don't understand how much there are things that we can do that turn out to be. We can have gifts, and they can work. And but there is an element of belief, and there's an element of divine nature that gave you the opportunity to receive or get there, right? So there's a part of you that you just can't say is being just me that has that have been able to accomplish it because of me and everything that I've done. And and I say that because we we are told that if we go if we get up early and we work hard, then we can achieve.
mm,
And harder versus smarter. Uh, Being able to understand and connect to who we are, and being able to get closer to what we are here for, right? Because ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to receive a level of, like you talk about guilt. What's the opposite?
mm.
Like, what's the opposite of feeling guilty? Because it's like, and believe me, I'm right there with you. Um, where I could actually have some forms of where it's like, what am I doing that I could be doing? And taking some responsibilities. There are times that I know for a fact that I should have been doing things,
Yeah.
and here I am surfing. You know what I mean? Here I
Yes,
am
sir.
getting distracted, and a lot of that has to do with understanding myself, understanding, of having levels of adult attention depth. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Uh, ADD, and being able to saying, okay, what do I need to shift? How do I need to, So in other words, when it's time, when I'm going to be with kids or with families, boom, I'm gonna be there. When I'm going to actually come and I'm going to do some work, dedicating that time and making sure that I don't, or if I'm going to be building a business, working on the business, dedicating that time. And I think part of this life is that is it's a deal, especially when you're our age and we have the responsibility. You know what I mean? We have kids,
mhm,
work and being a dad, and having the responsibility of understanding that it's like, okay, what I do is very important, and but don't feel guilty. Not feeling guilty, but just feeling that you can have take ownership of it. And what are you going to do to? It's like the minute that you feel the guilt, why are you feeling the guilt? And then what do you what truly have you spent your time doing? Being
mm,
honest with yourself. Like it's like be honest with yourself. Okay, so if I'm honest with myself, I did not really get focused for 3 hours. I really was
mhm,
I really was on, you know what I mean,
mm,
for 2 hours, and I was researching.
mm.
I was spending my time doing what you ain't researching nothing. You was spending your time and you were getting absorbed by the app because that's what the application is designed to do, and you lost focus. Okay,
Yes,
so what are you
sir.
going to do to make it better? What are you going to do to make it different? Right? Okay, what's
Mm,
the plan? And so, therefore, brother, if a person develops kind of we are creatures of habit. And if you listen to a lot of people that have, and the people I've worked with that have had a lot of success in life, to uh, people that have developed major businesses, and it comes down to routine. Like if we don't have a routine or develop some form of routine, then we can suffer. And we just got to. It's like we could break from the routine, but then we have to get back and develop in a routine. So one would be for me or for anyone. I promise you. I think the whole entire planet needs to learn some form. Like we just, and I'm talking about you can meditatively do something, some People may go on a walk, and it's more of a mindful. So that mindful is being mindful of. I'm mindful that I am doing this. I'm thinking about. So it's really a level of self awareness. So I am being aware of myself, and I'm walking. I'm being aware of myself with my kids. Like it's meditative.
Mm.
I'm sitting here and I'm doing this particular thing, this repetitious thing, and it can be meditative to the brain. But a deep meditation practice for success goals, and for life goals is whenever I'm going to be actually taking that time and I'm going to sit my butt in that chair. You know,
Mm.
even if I'm getting up in the morning, boom, I'm getting up in the morning. Let me go ahead and hit this. You know, 15 minutes. There's all kinds of stuff out there, bro. That you can sit that and hit that 10 minutes in the morning. It's just like I'm collecting my thoughts and I'm just gonna let them go. I'm not gonna think about what I got to do for the day at that moment.
Mm.
It's gonna
Yeah.
try to hit you. It's gonna come and it's gonna be like you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And you know what? That's good. You want those thoughts to automatically come there, but the minute that you can recognize them is the minute that you're separating your soul and your intrinsic nature from your body and your brain.
Mm.
It's really deep because when you're thinking about it, now you really tapping into your soul. Now you really tapping into the the real authentic divine you is whenever you have these thoughts of like, okay, man, you need to get up, you need to do this, do that way. I'm gonna just take this 10 minutes and I'm just letting them thoughts roll off. I'm let them. There's another Elizabeth Fester, and she has a practice that is mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation. I kind of like it. And so the mindfulness part is when you wiggling your toes, you coming up your calf, coming throughout your whole body. So now in your brain is bringing a self awareness. If I was to say, think about my hand, that means I actually gonna take all my focus in my brain and I'm gonna look at my hand. I'm gonna think about it, right? So now that's what. So when you do a mindfulness thing, you're actually being self of your body and your senses. That's a mind. And then when you move into meditation, is whenever you are here in your head, right? And there's not necessarily a focus, but I'm focusing my energy on my being in my head. I'm focusing my energy. And then you can see dark, and if that's the reason why it's sometimes good to have the music, because the music is going to flip, literally trigger the brain, right, to focus on the music. And then as the thoughts are rolling in, it can actually go back towards that particular music. And there's particular music. It's not really lyrical music. A lot of times, it's usually tones, solid tones uh, that are actually doing things actually to your senses, right?
Mm.
And then as those thoughts come in, and you learn to let those thoughts go, as you learn to let them go, I'm telling you, I promise you, over the course of a year, over the course of 2 years, you will be tapping in and tuning in. You're tapping and tuning into stuff, bro, that you'd be like, whoa, holy cow. Like, how was I able to do
Mm.
that? How was I able to connect to that? But you'll know that, wait, I know not only why I'm here, I know what I'm here for. I know that, these things are coming at me. So I know I'm gonna have to hit it. I'm gonna have to hit we got pillows and different. I'm gonna have to hit my meditation so I can like, boom, let it go, and then as you start going into whether it's meetings and appointments or you start planning or whatever you start thinking, what happens is it begin to change a lot of those things. The last thing was manifestation, what she does, mindfulness, meditation, and then manifestation. And so if you were to look at it at 15 minutes, it's like the first 2 minutes, you're going to actually do a mindfulness, being self aware of your body, self aware of everything that's going on within you, right? And a consistent breath. And then you go into a meditation where it's all mostly in your head, right? And you're, of course, practicing deep breathing and letting it go, and your thoughts will be coming in. And the biggest thing is you want the thoughts to come in because they are, but you just want to be able to be like, I've been thinking about that for like, I've been thinking about that for 2 minutes. Well, okay, stop. And as you do that, now in the last 5 minutes of manifestation is you begin to see things as though, act as though, right? So in other words, what do I see? I see Dad, can we talk? I want to see Dad. I'm not seeing myself doing interview that amazing, right? I'm seeing myself bringing, see 100 dads. I see, right? I'm seeing. So you start just stretch the imagination, let it go, but you just begin to absorb and feel like the things that you believe that you feel like you want to happen. You act as though, and you begin to feel like it already happened. Do you know your brain doesn't know the difference between the reality of something and uh, uh, actually just feeling it, right? And you do that, body gets excited. The brain can get excited. The whole body gets it. Whole you can get excited whenever it doesn't just you're not just visualizing, but you're feeling like it's happening. And do you know what happens is there's something divine within us that we begin to walk and we begin to switch and we begin to change ourselves. We begin to wake up early automatically. Like we don't even, there's things that can start happening that you ain't even trying. All of a sudden you'll start reaching out to certain people and somehow, some way,
Mm.
it's like, man, what happened? What did I do different? It's like, you have that power. You have that power. We have more power within us. That's one thing that we haven't really discovered. We discovered a lot, but one of the things that we will do over the future is being able to tap in and tune in to ourselves. We have things like these phones and computers and all this stuff that's happening around us. The engineers make it where everybody, post about Walmart. Uh, I don't know who had that post, but it said, I'm sorry if I forget to scan some items um, in the cash register because I never had training." Talk about Walmart, you know what I mean? And what they were getting at is uh, the fact that Walmart has basically taken the individual person, having you scan this, so now you're becoming the cashier, right? And their
Mhm.
systems are designed. Their systems are designed. They have one employee there, and the systems are designed where this is so easy to put in the bag. Like we don't have to have that. We created the software and everything else um, to the point where even if you scan that last that toilet paper that makes it where there's only 20 rolls back there, it's automatically dispatch and say store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 these stores. Right?
Mhm.
Nobody ever just said that on a computer. So those things like that make us not realize uh, how it makes us feel super advanced, but mentally we have a lot that we are capable of. Before there was Wi-Fi, before there was Wi-Fi, there was Wi-Fi. Before there was radio signals, there was radio signals. We just hadn't tapped into them yet.
Mhm.
So why am I saying? What have we not tapped into? What
Mhm.
else out there exists that we don't know? And a big thing is, and we don't give enough credit, is we don't know how much and what we're capable of. We've seen it from time to time, but mastering it and knowing what we're capable of through the practices of mindfulness meditation and belief and process and taking care of yourself, all these different things like that is what can lead you way quicker versus just being like, man, I just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, go, 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 go. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I promise you, the grit, rich, die, trying, hustle philosophy is you're going to actually, you can actually get somewhere and you can go far, but you probably won't even recognize it
Mhm.
because you always constantly trying to hustle and always trying to go. You won't even recognize the fact of what you've been able to accomplish, right?
Mhm.
I know people right now to this day, bro. Yes, black people, yes, that. And they get up in the morning and they work and they work until the wee hours of the night, and they get up and do it again, and do it again. And to live in the sense where it's like a you'd be able to accomplish a lot, but to live in the sense that it's like really truly enjoy 100% who you are and what you are bringing to the planet. Because
Mm,
if you do that and you live that, and you can say, man, I enjoy this, and man, I 100% believe that this is what I'm going to do. Great. You know
mm,
what I mean? Great. And it'll last as long as it lasts. Because I'll tell you, this body is super, super, it's
mm,
rare. I'm here to tell you, and pretty sure we have found that this thing is temporary, and so therefore we have a time on this planet, on this earth, that we can bring a lot, and and people can live throughout the width.
mm. That's
Dr.
some.
King was here, and we still talk about what he was able to talk to help
Mm,
us that are living. You can take it from king, from king to king, from king to Jesus. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like from Jesus to Muhammad. All these individual people that were able to create an influence, right, over a group of, of people of hopefully of principle, right, of states of being and a state of consciousness, states of
mm,
right, and saying, hey, you are capable, you are able, right, and then getting other people to understand that other people actually uh, matter, right,
mm,
that they actually we still are in a consciousness fight,
mhm,
consciousness fight, awareness fight. So what's one of the biggest things that as people, we can do as people, is tap in and tune into our awareness, and especially from our history. Uh, a lot of Africans, a lot of Black people were demonized, um, really demonized, religious principles and practices, especially in America. And which I understand how people feel and fear, but one of the things we've always been uh, a deeply spiritual race, even prior to coming to America, right?
mm. Yes, sir.
Um, we're deeply connected,
Mm,
right, through our practices of living in life. And so, uh, the more we can get tuned in, right, to ourselves, it actually helps us get tuned in to all things around us, and then we can get tuned into others. The way I look at it is like, have you ever been somewhere? And most brothers, have you ever been somewhere when I was younger? You know, maybe like by the time I was 25, 24, and you somewhere you've been there, and somebody's about, and people start getting turned up,
mm.
and you be like, time to go.
Yes, sir.
You, they get turned up, and it's time to go. How do we do that? How do we know that? You know what I mean? Somebody could walk in the room and be like, here he is. Oh, here they go.
You feel
You
it.
know what I mean? You you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it. And that's what that same exact feeling can happen on the opposite when it comes to negative, when it's like, you start feeling it on the negative. It can also have positive. It happen on you feel it,
Mm,
feel that this is about to be a hit. You feel it if you watch going back to that Kanye West doc. It's like he was working when he already had a deal. He was feeling it and believing in himself. Everything that he wouldn't be where he was today if it wasn't for the fact that they denied him and said, you know what, we're not releasing the budget, rapper. If they would have just said, okay, you're a rapper, and just because we said you're signed,
Mm,
Would he ever? Would he wouldn't even have the ability to create necessarily the wire. He
mm,
had to go through a crack to, you know, create all the wire. Everything, a lot of pretty much everything he went through was able to help create, right?
mm,
To make him and force him to grow as a person. So if you are out there right now and you feeling it, man, you might be going through a growth stage
mm,
and you actually feeling it. And they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Once you go, once you hit a certain level in life, once you are ready to graduate, right? You okay? I'm good. All right, I learned my lesson. All right, I'm ready to move forward. You can actually say that. You
mm,
know what? I've learned this. Ready to move forward. I'm ready for this new. I'm ready for new opportunities. I'm ready to. And you know what? I believe we can shift who we are. We can start to begin to shift ourselves in that way. And what happens is things can begin to shift in our lives. And there's uh, there's things that we can go through on a daily basis, brother. Things that we can see on a daily basis. We gotta make sure that we do take in the right things. That it's like taking in the right things inside of here, so that if we want to have certain levels of success, it matters what you're doing and what you're putting in, right? There's, from music standpoint to to books. Some things can be just cool that you like to listen to, but some things could be not necessarily helping you,
mm,
right? And nobody is all negative, you know. It's just kind of ironic that most of the people, especially here, the latest rappers that have died, like, if you sit back and listen to their music, like you sit there and listen, and it was like there is so much stuff. I mean,
mm,
it's like, you know, gotta person has to be careful with what you on both ends. You know,
mm,
saying something that's negative, then you need to make sure they say it takes five positives for one negative,
mm,
five positive transactions to clear one negative. And
mm,
even with my wife, bro, you can go through something and be like, I really want to say something. It could be justifiable. But right now, I'm just not saying. I'm just like, you said something, I'll say something. You said something. I'm like,
mm.
deep breath. Because then if I do say something after that deep breath, hopefully I'm not in my
Mm.
feelings.
Touche, man. Seriously, see,
Bro,
yeah,
we could be in our feelings, bro.
man. I just went through that last week. Seriously, just last week. If I just would have took a breath,
Just take a breath, bro.
yeah.
Just be like, hey, you know what? It's more man of you, especially around it's more man of you. Whenever it's going back and she wrong, and you know she's wrong, right? Like, or she might be in her opinion, but you just actually be like, you know what? Let me show. Here's the thing: is you could change a lot in your life, change a lot with people. You learn how to process yourself and be authentic and actually come to the table, right?
Mm,
I told my wife recently, and I get a lot of attention issues, you know what I mean? And it's like, and you be like scrolling, you're like, man, that's thirsty. That's thirsty. You know what I mean? And I actually was able to tell my wife, I was like, man, you know what? I'm seeing a lot of thirsty videos and it's doing something to me. Evidently, I just want you to know, like, and it's not sex related. I know it has more to do with my self esteem, and it's like I need my wife, we got kids, we got this going on, that going on. It's not even. I just need some hugs. You know what I mean? I
mm,
notice my through my meditation practices. I notice my feelings, but I'm able to come back to her and be open. I'm able to actually explain my feelings And I know she doesn't. But for the most part, she don't know what to do. Like,
Hmm.
no, you don't have to say nothing. It'll come to you, hopefully, later. You know what I mean? I'm just wanting to get this off my chest. I want to get let this off go and be like, you know what? Maybe I'm feeling this kind of way, and I just want to be able to let you know, like, you know, I'm feeling this way, but I need some attention, and not
Hmm.
in a good way. Like I need some attention with our relationship. So
Hmm.
it's date night or something. I might need you to say something to me. Say some positive stuff to me. Being able to be open and being able to have open dialogues and conversations, and it's not the best, within my relationship, but I think she's learning, and I'm trying to be the example. And
Hmm.
that's one of the things. If you want to change somebody, you need to look to change them.
Yes, sir.
My spiritual father told me, he was like, once you committed to a woman, try to look at it as outside of your house, you're gonna take responsibility. So when something happens to her, and I'm talking about, okay, she did this or did that, being able to say, you know what, I'm gonna bear that cross, right? I'm
Hmm.
gonna bear that cross for you in the sense that I'm here and we can dialogue and we can have a conversation about this. But what I've learned, bro, is I have more. It's like a natural thing that I have more, uh, uh, not just power, but I have more influence. I have more influence over my family based on how I feel about myself, based on how I come to faith, based on my honesty, based on my dialogue. Hey guys, I just want to have, like, I want to talk about how we can make it work. What is your right?
Hmm.
Tell me what you feel. Tell me how you feel, right? And they will, even if they, I've learned my kids have, and I've learned, I just seen the power of influence, the power of influence based on leading by example, not leading just because I got to
Hmm. Straight up.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, you're empowered. You got one of those.
Hmm.
Nah, it's like I'm leading by example, and I can divinely connect to my feminine self. Come on, there's not one man that has not come from vagina.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like Mother Earth. You know what I mean? It's like, please, we all come from that 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 same amazing process, and so we are connected with more than we want. So,
Yeah.
right, i.e., your mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Straight up.
seldom that a guy would have a bad relationship with mom compared to having any kind of relationship. So,
Hmm.
you know, and so leading, when I say leading by example, it's not or not leading because you know everyone has said that you are leading because you're a man, but it's understanding your vulnerability, understanding your insecurity, right?
Hmm.
Understanding that you know what I mean. My macho ness is not what's gonna, you know, my macho ness from me pushing it out is not just going to uh, create the space that I want. You don't have to do that. There's a natural gift and a natural thing about being a man that if you just let it flow, if you just connect to that, I promise you, there's a naturalness of being a man in a family that is divinely connected to who we are as 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 men and how the world how we work as a species, right? I mean, uh, regardless of how a person feels about sexual orientation, it's like one of the things the way the science works takes right? Takes those two elements to come together in order to form another being, another human being, right? So
Hmm.
there's something divine that is naturally about, something naturally divine about that whole that whole process, which has been uh recently um, a major discussion, you know,
Hmm.
a major, major discussion. And so we through another paradigm as we come into understanding through ignorance and stupidity, uh, you know, make laws or anything else on the being a human being, being a dad. What does it mean? And they always usually get on the one of the last I'll say is in the film Chicago at the Crossroads. There's a point that the Phoenix Green and the list goes on of all the different buildings that they created, right? The ghettos, right? They created them massive, and one of the things is they would actually have you get a voucher and you get to get one of these piece of trash uh, rooms that turned to piece of trash eventually because they had outdoor elevators in Chicago. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
silly. And but they did not allow the man to come into the house. That was one
Mm-hmm.
of the processes. If you wanted to, eventually they made it where if you wanted it to stay, the man could not stay. There has been through our history, we have pulled fathers from the home. There has been in our history where fathers are pulled from home. Now there are fathers that we need to take responsibility, but at the same time, uh, um, supporting us and supporting fathers and really, really, truly supporting their mental health as is to me one of the biggest things that we could do at this point is looking at how we can support people's mental health, especially Black men, uh,
Mm-hmm.
because there's just something experienced being a man, and there's something to experience being a Black man too. The African experience, right? That has tied through history, that connects us to who we are and the self-esteem values that we may not have, and we constantly are in heck with that, trying to prove ourselves, trying to prove each other, trying to prove to each other, right, that I am a man, even if I got a clutch cap. That's old. Even if I gotta go to these, you know what I mean? You know, even if I
Yeah.
have to show my ego, I have to show it, show my strength, and I come time I know and I feel it and I understand. I understand that, a person wants some kind of respect, you know. Uh, but at the same time, like a lot of times we lead by that. We lead by that power. We lead by um my alphaness
Mm-hmm.
versus understanding that, bro, you came from a vagina like everybody else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's in you. I'm sorry. You could produce a woman. You can assist with producing a woman just as well as you can for. You more
Mm.
connected to women than you actually want
Straight up.
to. But at the same time, being a leader to me is being is living by example and also understanding what it means to be a, a follower, right? Being a follower of truth, of your truth, right? And then being open to one is being open to people and seeking to understand, understanding everything around you. Then and we talk.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with this, brother?
Um, my thought for it was I I realized that we don't talk enough as men, and that's never really been one of my problems. You know, I like to talk and I like to express myself, especially with my brothers. I like to get things out of me when I get with my brothers and we just have real talks. And I realized that I was always doing that. And I thought it was good for brothers. You know, a lot of guys like to talk to me because, they're always like, man, you know what, bro, you gonna keep it real, man. And when I keep it real with them and tell them things that I'm going through, then they start to open up, about things that they're dealing with. And we talk about it. And so I'm like, man, I think it'd be good to start a podcast and give men a platform, give dads, especially black dads and black men, a platform where we can we can talk and we can express ourselves, get things off of our chest, and just have that
Yeah.
conversation and encourage each other and uplift each other. So
Beautiful.
that's what I wanted the
Beautiful.
platform to be.
What is your vision for, what, what's your vision for it?
Vision forward is to see strong dads, strong men, and to see the narrative surrounding Black fatherhood. I want that to be changed. When people think about Black fatherhood, most of the time the first thing you think of is a missing dad. You think of a dad that's whatever whatever he's not. I want to change that narrative when we think about Black fatherhood. I want us to think about what we are,
Mm,
instead of what we aren't. It's always uh dad isn't doing this, he's not here, he's not, it's like always something negative. And so now with this, one of my visions was I wanted to see the narrative surrounding Black fatherhood to be totally changed. So when people think of a Black dad, think of a Black man, they think of something positive. You think of a
yeah.
man that's, you know, there and present. Think of a dad that's, committed and doing whatever he has to do to take care of his family. And, you know, he might be struggling in certain things, but he's always every day, trying to get better, continuing to push
Yeah.
forward. I want that to be the thing that people think of. So it all started with just being with me being the example for that, just in my community. When people see me, they don't see some perfect dude. If you really know me, you know my struggles, you know the things that I deal with if you really know me, because I talk about it all the time, all the things that I have going on. But one thing you do see with me is I'm pushing, always talking about how we can do better and I can do better, trying to come up with those solutions on how we can just progress, So
Uh,
that's really one of my biggest visions, just changing the narrative.
so I think just keep going, brother, and just look at specialists and get the specialists involved. And uh, one of the things I was telling someone recently is I'm a life transformation life coach and deal with transformations in your life, and I deal with some business aspects of a person is. But ultimately, a person can be you could be at any quote unquote level in life, but ultimately, uh, the people that you have with you are people that you have with you are your key to being able to accomplish and fulfill all your goals. I promise you. It's nothing that you want to fulfill or do alone. I promise. Like the minute that you can, it's like the minute that you can have an attorney for something. If you're not one, it's like, okay, good. Okay. The minute that you get to the point where you can have um, someone helping you with accounting if you're not an accountant, it's like those are milestones or things you can cross mentally, physically. But black male therapists that are able to also help with some of these things from a clinical perspective, basically, is just giving you tips and tools and tricks that is like, oh wow, there's a like meditations a trick. There's all kinds of grounding. There's all kinds of different tricks that have been available. Here's the key: these things have been available
Mm-hmm.
more broadly for people outside of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they are somewhat available to us. But when I say available, it's just different. You're able to go into a world whenever a person that you can relate to, a person you can see eye to eye, or a person that you can actually say you can have some of your experiences and they can. And so, experts or individuals with specialties, seek them out and keep doing what you're doing. You keep bringing examples and people telling their stories, and then keep digging up some experts, bro. They don't even have to have a big following. They just have if they got a niche that they're good at, that they could bring to your show. I'll tell you that you matter. Your show matters. What you bring to the table matters more than you know, right? More than you even know. And if the minute that you start seeing this bigger than you, so there's one dad out there right now that's gonna hear everything we had to say and talk. And I promise, he's gonna be able to make a difference, and then hopefully be able to make a difference in another. Biggest thing that we can ever do, even if you are not a father or if you are, young boys that don't have, step it up and just make sure you know that you're encouraged. And we don't have to always, my kid's a competitive basketball player. And so you always have these individuals that might want to come into these guys' lives, young boys' lives, but they want to show them how to be tough. Which I understand if it's a certain point, but what a lot of these boys don't get is they don't get bona fide just just some loving nature, right? The love you possibly may get, or you can possibly get, you know, to some of the boys, and it's uplifting and encourage them. But at the same time, just taking that opportunity to do our part, and to do your part. And here's the thing: I believe that the more you do that, and you give, and a person does that, I believe that you will be honored, right? You will be honored, and people don't remember what you're, what you, how much you made. People remember how you made them feel,
Mm.
right? You can sit back like, man, he made a lot of money, but you will also can look back and go like, wow, what a, he made a lot of money. But what a difference he made in terms of X, Y, Z. They People remember how you make them feel, and so keep, keep pushing, but ultimately, man, keep believing, right? Keep seeing yourself as when you say get it better, and when you want to think about, okay, I want to upgrade, I want to do this, I want to do that, bro. You run and you have something right now, bro. I'm telling you, man, you just you're just few stages. You're just few stages from the breakthrough. You know, you just need it, and you celebrate. You episode 80, and just imagine, like, go ahead and look at episode. Uh, we got episode 80. I don't know who's coming on episode 100, but I might want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we gonna because that's party.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, episode
Yeah.
100 need to be a big thing. If you got to take it live, whatever the case is, and whoever else has been on here over the last 80 episodes, over the last, if it's 80 and then we have 100 over the last 100 episodes, everybody would be a part of that. We come back and support my brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Support him, lift him up. I have a process that I do right now. A lot of I could be somewhere I don't even know. I don't even know you, but
Mm-hmm.
there's some within me. If I feel your energy and I feel that you pushing out, yeah. If I feel that you may not be connected or want it, then I might not. But 9 times out of 10, no matter what, I'm gonna reference, especially if we are walking around in this skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need. I just because I know we need more of that. We need more of it. I just see you. I don't care if you're a stranger. What's up, man? How you doing,
Mm-hmm.
man? It's good to see my people.
Yes, sir.
I love my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what you've been through, you know, I'm just letting you know, like, just letting you know. And I must, be straight up. Like, uh, I've been asked to do certain things, but one of the things that I know for sure, like, it's my duty and responsibility, right, to try my best to make something like this happen. I see you, you give an effort, you put your show out there, you got searches you're doing. You know what I mean? You didn't just wake up and just decided to do this last night. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This is something you put some effort into. So, uh, it, I feel more called
Mm,
to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel more responsibility to be a part and let the brothers see the beautiful studio and let them connect. You know what I'm saying? Like to the possibility. Hopefully research and see what I've been able to accomplish. Not so they can be like, wow, that's awesome. But I want them to be like, I want you to see what I've been able to accomplish and decide to, you know, uh, burn that oil,
mm,
turn it up. You know what I'm saying? You do music, put, you know, double it up, 10x, what they would say, go all in and making sure that you bring in your divine, authentic self
mm.
to the planet because there's something that you may have, there's something you may do, or there's something you may bring, make to this.
That's real. That's some good
Okay.
stuff there, man. That's some good stuff, man. Listen, man, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to share the last 2 hours with you, man. Soak in all this wisdom and knowledge. And I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you for giving me your time.
Most definitely, bro. So it's an honor. And heck, with this, if you got to break it out.
Man, I love to come out to the OK state, man. Just hang out. I'm just always trying to expand, man. You know, man, I love to come out that way one day. And it's so crazy because you're in Tulsa. That's like on one of my list of places where I really, really want to go. I started looking into Black Wall Street some years ago, man. I just once I realized that, and then it took me to the Black Wall Street in North Carolina. I started just looking at all the Black Wall Streets all around the nation, man. And but Tulsa is one of those places that I really, 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 really want to visit one day, man. So much history there, and
Just yeah, just
yeah,
well, in the museum, the Greenwood Museum, and all those things are extremely powerful. And whether time is an illusion, and so because we just had Juneteenth, but we have a pretty large.
yeah,
Uh, they invite celebrities. I mean, it's a 2 or 3 day event. You got uh, black food trucks. The black bikers, black Wall Street bikers was massive. I've never seen so many black people on bikes. I mean, you have black people from all over the country. Dallas represented like nuts. All of them on the same kind of bike. They got all of them. You had hundreds fighters from
yeah,
Dallas. It was like all over. There was black people, bro, in uh, $400,000 uh, camp pulling a bike in another $500,000.
crazy,
Black, crazy, like all over the place, and it was like taking up the hotels, bro. It was like,
yeah,
yeah, this is energy. This man, it had
yeah,
me fired up. You know what I mean? And our Juneteenth is usually lit. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
so, you know, uh, it would be, bro, it would rock your world to come to Juneteenth next year and actually set up food.
yeah,
I promise you. I mean, it rocked the world. I mean, of course, the Centennial, you had all kinds of, Roland Martin, you had all kinds of people doing event, you know, during that. But at the same time, it's like the connection of Black Wall Street. It it really is. I mean, there's a reason why Ron James uh, he done a documentary, CNN and with Russell Westbrook also. There's a reason why those people are have an interest, and black tech is really taking off around here. There's a synergy and there's an energy, and in our my latest documentary that I'm a producer of somewhere in America, there's going to be a literal hour section on uh, I think it's about a 1 hour section on Black Wall Street. Trump comes into town, all the stuff going on, you get to see it all. You get to see, you know, the Trump stuff in 2020, and you get to see all of this craziness over at one side of town, and then you shoot over there to Black Wall Street, Greenwood, and it's massive, massive. You know what I mean? People living it up.
Crazy.
Massive. You know what I mean? It was beautiful. You know, it was beautiful. But we break the story down on being able to understand and realize, connect to not just history, because you get to see that. But what's happening now? What's future? You know, that museum is lit too.
Yeah.
You know, it's lit being able to go uh to such a museum and being able to connect and see some of the experiences and see virtual reality you know, of the actual experience, you know. And then there's a lot of things that these people are doing within the community, you know. For my son to be able to be in middle school and be able to be part of he goes to school. Literally, my son goes to school on Greenwood. You know
Wow.
what I mean? So his principal is black. You know his, you know, uh, uh right? And but yet, so and it's pretty diverse, but at the same time, like your leaders, that's one thing I say. It's one thing to have a body, diversified student body, but man, it's a whole another thing.
Mm.
Whenever the principal or whatever other people within the leadership, right, are actually people of color or you know minorities, or you know, so you could see people in leadership and respect me like, oh wow, you know, and them understanding the the dichotomy and the things that we may go through as people, you know, and being able to yeah, my son who's part of leaders. There's young men's leaders or something like that where you have these kids that you dressing up and you're wearing a tie, you know, you're wearing slacks and they teaching you how to be a leader, and it's diversified, but it does have a strong emphasis on understanding art, right? You know what I mean? And so it's bro. Yeah. It's a gift that I just so am enthused. You know, recently I've been able to manifest a home on the, you know, I get to, you know, it is what it is, man. But it's like I get to live in black excellence. You know, where your your neighbors are retired school teachers, black. You get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Black professionals that are you know you living in the uh, uh, what they call it the black excellence.
Mm.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We'll stay connected, bro, and
Got to.
you know that, make sure we uh, being able to share. I want to send you some videos of what I've some of the things I've been able to accomplish and things that you can see. Because man, it's nothing that like having those connections and being able to understand, bro. That, the
Sir.
sky's not the limit. You'll believe it.
Mm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, listen. Wow, if anybody y'all listen to this podcast, y'all know this is my type of man right here. You know, he's because we haven't I don't even want to get on the history part, man. I love history. And I know that would take us a whole other like 2-3 hours. So man, we definitely got to stay in contact, man. I would definitely love to learn some of that history out that way, man. We got to stay connected, bro. We have to. I need that type of energy in my life.
Yes.
Seriously. So man, like I say, man, I definitely appreciate you for sharing your time with me. And yeah, we'll be in contact.
All right, brother. Until we meet again, you have a good one, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity, and I send all good vibes and success to everything that you lay your hand.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, my man. But yeah, I see you. I'll write you tomorrow, and we'll
All right, brother.
yeah, we're gonna talk tomorrow.
That'll work. All
All
right.
right, my man.
Have a good
Appreciate you. Yep.
Me and you side by side, we gon' take the ride. Anybody say they perfect, believe me, they lie. I made some mistakes back in the days, but sometimes maturity don't come with age. The game don't change unless you change the plays. You gotta let some things go and let some things stay. My promise to you is I'll do my part. You might not understand, but it come from the heart. You heard what side of the story, but that ain't mine. Now I say all wounds heal with time. When you know better, then you do better. The world will try to hold you down, but don't let them. Be pure and hard, have faith in God. Stay prayed up, and that's a good start. I left without noticing you couldn't take it. It ain't your fault, me